Okay, so this is my second video of the day. Ooh, my hair's a little crazy. My hair is like Doctor Strange's cape. It just does as it damn well pleases, and now it's all wrapped around. This is like just is attached to me practically. Well, not practically. It definitely is attached to me. It has a mind of its own. Anyway, so this is my second video of the day. I ran out and paid for cat food with pennies. The guy was not pleased that he had to sit there and count pennies, and I stopped at a place to see if they wanted to hire a muralist, but they already have an artist actually that they're selling the artwork through the shop. It's like a little marketplace. Anyway, so this is an important one that I wanted to go over. I'm gonna do my glasses off. So I think I mentioned in a previous video, I briefly mentioned being attacked by my mom at one point as an adult. Like, well, there have been several incidents where that's happened, but there was one in particular that I was alluding to that was pretty serious. It wasn't just my mom, it was my stepdad and my sister Sara. And my nieces and nephew witnessed it. And I'm going to try to make this as quick as I can before I lose the light, because I'm making this just before sunset again. And maybe I might try to put this, get a little bit more sun. Okay, so, okay, so this was back in roughly like 2017, and I might make another video, another version of this that's more official after I've gone back and looked at it, because I have photos and stuff that will tell me the exact dates. I'll explain why there are photos. Obviously. And video. So once I get that video and the photos, dig it up, I'll probably be posting the video up on here too. Of basically my sister attacking me. So it'll be like one half of a video, because I'll have to maybe like blur out my niece's face or something, because half the video is me recording my niece telling me stuff about how she's being treated. So, okay, so this was, so this was roughly 2017. At the time I was living up in Pine Hill, New Jersey, which is about an hour to an hour, 15-minute drive from my hometown. My mom had already bought her big house on Cape May Island, my hometown. My sister Megan had moved in with her, along with my niece Adriana, who is now going on 14. She'll be 14 this year. It's 2022. So we're talking about 5 years ago, so roughly nine-ish. And she started acting like a teenager pretty early on too, like 8, 9. She started developing the teenager attitude. So I would come down to my hometown to visit pretty regularly, because it's just a little over an hour drive. You know, come to birthdays, holidays, beach days, pool days, dance recitals, all that stuff. And obviously interact with my nieces, my nephews, ask them how they're doing, what's going on, jump on the trampoline with them, so on and so forth. And my niece's behavior I'd been noticing was getting more and more. I was noticing she was using control to validate herself. She was being very controlling and manipulative of her younger cousins, my niece Taylor and my nephew Albie, their brother and sister by my other sister Sara. and they currently live, for a while they were also living at my mom's house with my sister Sara. So it was a full house, packed. It was my mom, my stepdad, both of my sisters, all three of their kids, and I believe at one point my grandmother also was going over there and spending the night there, and spending the days back at her house about 5 minutes away in North Cape May. And during this time, I think that, during this time, my sister Sara was definitely living at the house too, with her kids. She's currently living at my grandmother's old house in North Cape May because my grandmother passed. And the house is owned by my mom and her siblings, and they let my sister move in there with her kids because my sister was like sleeping in my mom's hotbox attic on a mattress, and my nieces had to share a room, and it was like, yeah, it was a packed house. Anyway, so my sister's currently living over there. I was noticing things like Sara, my sister Sara, would interact with my oldest niece, Adriana, and Adriana is my sister Megan's daughter. Sara would interact with Adriana sometimes like a high school girl. She would handle arguments, disagreements, and stuff with my niece like a high school girl, like kind of viciously and kind of snidely and kind of nastily. And it's like, this is not how to handle an 8-9-year-old girl who's starting to get a little bit of teenage attitude, is to like stoop to her level. And there was also, I was just starting to notice things like, these are like red flags for, I was starting to notice certain things like that are red flags for very narcissistic and negligent parenting, and teaching kids to validate themselves with completely bad things, with external things like their looks and what people think of them. I mean, like, to some degree that matters, I guess, so you don't get stoned to death, but you shouldn't value yourself based on, like, if people think you're pretty, or if people like you, like, do you want pedophiles to like you? Do you want child rapists and child abusers to like you? Do you need to be liked that badly? Do you not have any boundaries or integrity? Like, that sort of, you need to teach kids boundaries and integrity. These are and you have to teach them by modeling it. And you certainly don't stoop to their level when they start to get snide and nasty. And sorry if there's a bunch of teenage kids like chilling out and taking selfies, pictures of each other. And the dude who sleeps down here in the Jeep, who's been kind of harassing me, is working on his vehicle, so I apologize for noise. And like, if I'm looking over, I'm getting distracted by all their movements and stuff. Anyway, be quick, cat. Losing sunlight. Okay. So, on my trips down visiting, I'd been noticing some red flags and been concerned for my niece, and been mentioning it, bringing it up with my sister, bringing it up with my mom, my sister Sara, and bringing it up with my mom, like, and commenting on it, just like, this is inappropriate, this is not how you interact with her, she needs this kind of treatment and behavior, and not this kind of treatment and behavior. And was repeatedly shirked off, ignored, overthrown, told it's none of my business, so on and so forth. My mom would say, like, there's nothing she can do about it. My sisters are going to do what they're going to do. It's like, dude, you go out of your way to be controlling of me and my life. You Shanghai me, you lie, you manipulate, you steal my property. To force me to, like, choose a career path that you want. So I don't know why you can't make some kind of move, something. Unless my sisters do what they need to do by their children. Like, I don't know, at the very least tell them if they're not going to parent properly, they can not parent properly under a different roof. I don't know, something. But, like, or just suggest family therapy or something, which I was suggesting. I was being ignored. So at one point, on one of my trips down, my visits down, I'd spent the day, like, chilling with them. And I remember one visit that really made me start to think this a lot, like added to my concerns, and I think really was one of the deciders for me to like do something, take a more drastic step, which would be like recording my niece telling me about some of the things like that she was unhappy with, and like in the living situation, and so on and so forth, and the treatment, and also with her dance troupe, which she's not with anymore, because the instructors were very bullying, and which I'd been saying for years based on stuff she was telling me. I've been saying for years to my mom, like, you need to tell Megan. Megan doesn't listen to me. I was like, maybe she'll listen to my mom once in a while. It's like, you need to tell Megan, these dance instructors, based on what, call her Ducky, like, based on what Ducky's saying to me, her name's Adriana, we call her Ducky, they're bullies. This is inappropriate. This is wrong. They can't motivate a kid by bullying them. That's not healthy. And they're modeling that. They're modeling that to the kids. And it seemed like from what I was hearing, they're also like getting the other kids to help with the bullying and the harassing, like to get some dancer on board and make them like, just do the flip or something like that. I was just like, this is crazy. Like, and I remembered what it was like at these dance troupes, because I was forced to dance for a while too. And they're bullies. They can be. Like, not all of them are that bad, but they can be like, that typical gymnast coach for like, I don't know, child athletes that are bound for the Olympics type of thing, that just pushes them so hard they don't have a life. I don't know, this is not healthy. So anyway, so that was one of the things. So the other incident that happened was one of the times I visited, I came down and I was sitting in the back. We were sitting on the trampoline. It was both of my nieces, Taylor and Adriana Ducky, and my nephew Albie. At this point, I already noticed, like, my niece Adriana Ducky was doing things like charging her younger cousins, Taylor and Albie, to use her trampoline, charging them like humiliating things like making them do 10 push-ups before she would let them get on the trampoline. And it was like kind of to poke fun at them, because they're great kids, but they're a little bit overweight. I think that there's a gluten intolerance in the family. I think they need to be taken to a nutritionist, and they need to have some tests done, because they eat the same as any other kid and get the same amount of exercise, but they're just like the way my sisters and I were. We were skinny minis when we were young kids, and then we got near like puberty and like blimped out. And I think that it's just at that point our systems were so tired of dealing with gluten, or that's one of the problems, I think, and maybe high levels of cortisol hormone. But I gave up gluten years ago, and noticed a huge improvement in my health and just my overall feeling of well-being. And that could be a hereditary thing. So that's another thing I've been telling them for years. Like, hey, guys, because my youngest niece and nephew have been overweight for a few years now. And it's like, Sara, they're great kids, no matter what package they come in. But, like, isn't it our responsibility to make sure that the package is as healthy as we can make it? Like, we have so many resources at our disposal here. We're middle-class white American citizens. We have the ability to take them to nutritionists and stuff and get blood work done and make sure they're not allergic to anything or have an intolerance to something or have imbalanced hormone levels that are causing them to not burn off fat as efficiently as other kids their age, because this is really unfair to them and their health in the long run. It's bad on their joints, their frames, their muscles. It's really unhealthy. This is your responsibility. You go out of your way to get Starbucks lattes and get your hair done and your nails done and get like boutique shoes and whatever. You need to go out of your way to make a freaking appointment with a nutritionist or whoever you need to do, like, take the kids to see. This is your responsibility. It's not like you're living in a shack in Africa and don't have resources. Like, you have more resources than most of the people on the planet. Like, who else could do this for their kid? Most people can't. Do it. This is your responsibility. If you can, you need to. So I know I certainly didn't my sisters and I, we were all like very overweight compared to every other kid our age. Like, once we got close to puberty, we just blimped out. I was like, no amount of exercise or healthy eating could fix it. And a lot of it's, I think, like, stress, loves, like, we're very anxious people, particularly the females. Stress and anxiety, I think we have like a cortisol level, hormone level issue. And I think that there's a gluten intolerance. Anyway, so, right, so my niece said something to me. My niece said something, she said, she was getting angry with me. She was being kind of mean to her younger cousins. We were sitting out on the trampoline. We had been bouncing around and we were sitting around the trampoline. And she was being kind of mean to her younger cousins. And I was saying something to her like, just, you don't have to be so mean to them, cruel to them. And she was getting mad. She was like, shut up, Caddy, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you don't have to react that way either. You don't have to get so offended just because because I wasn't yelling at her or anything. I was just commenting, I was like, I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just trying to, point out that you could interact with your cousins a bit differently, and like, why do you feel so disgruntled towards them? Because she seems to get offended as soon as I point out anything that she's doing that could be a little bit different, like nicer. And that's typically all I comment on, is like, you could be a bit nicer when it comes to this or that, or, I was only offering you this. You don't have to be so moody about it. I know she's a teenager, but I don't recall being that moody. Being that just like, even, and unthankful. At the very least I was taught to say like, no thank you. And that's just ignore. I know I wouldn't, like, anyway. So I was saying that to her. So again, it was myself and my two nieces, Ducky and Taylor, and my nephew Albie, all sitting on the trampoline out back in my mom's backyard in Cape May. And I was saying to my niece, my oldest niece, Adriana, you don't need to get, you don't have to react that way and get so angry and offended just because I'm pointing out that, I'm trying to teach you something. I'm trying to guide you here. This is like, I'm doing this for your own good. I'm not doing this to hurt you or bully you. So I realized something. They all thought, based on the interaction, like the talking to them and stuff, they all thought that getting angry was, or they'd been giving the impression subconsciously, getting angry was wrong. They can't get angry. And I was like, so guys, like, it's okay to get angry. Like, getting angry is normal. It's normal to have that emotion, especially if somebody's done something to you that's wrong. If someone's wronged you, betrayed you, violated your rights. It's okay to get angry, but you don't have to react certain ways when you're angry. You can have more control over the way you react, the way you respond to being angry. And I remember my nephew Abby going like, yeah. And so Adriana was about 8 or 9 at the time. Taylor is a little less than a year younger than Adriana. So she would have been about 7, 8. And Albie's 2 years younger than Taylor. So he would have been about 6, 7, 6-ish. I think 6-ish, something. So, yeah. Yeah, 5 or 6. I feel like he was closer to 6, maybe like 6 or 7. He was not 5. He was older than 5. He was probably 6, 7. So Adriana was probably like 9-ish. Anyway, so I realized, like, these kids are being given the impression somehow that it's wrong to get angry, and they're not being told that they're not being taught that you can choose how you react to your anger. And they're not being taught things like you don't have to get automatically offended if someone gives you a little bit of a critique, especially if they're trying to be kind and nice about it. because you're not perfect. Nobody is. Nobody's born perfect. It's a learning process. Blah, blah, blah. I try to make this clear to my nieces and nephews when I interact with them. So just a lot of things, and a lot of things like seeing my sister Sara again interacting with my oldest niece Adriana, and it would resort, sometimes I would see them just fighting, bickering like two teenage high school girls, and I was like, this is so inappropriate, Sara. Like, and again, I was shut down and told, like, you don't get it, and what do you mean I don't get it? I'm sorry, what don't I get? What don't I get? Anyway, so this led me to, on one of my trips down, my visits down, I had actually spent most of the visit, like, you know, just chilling with the kids, talking with my mom, chatting with my sister, so on and so forth. And I was getting ready to go, and I actually went upstairs to my niece's bedroom to say goodbye to her. And at the time, it was both my niece's bedroom. They were both sharing the bedroom, and they had the bunk beds. And Megan wasn't home at the time. My youngest sister, Megan, Adriana's mom, she was at work. Sara was home. My stepdad was home, and my mom was home. And I went upstairs to say goodbye to my niece, Adriana, and I believe my mom was already kind of pissed at me because I had, like, I was getting to the point where, like, almost every time I was going down there, I was kind of on the verge of, I was kind of, like, lecturing my mom, like, this is not the way you need to be raising this kid. You're making the same mistakes with her. Or Megan and Sara making the same mistakes with these kids that you made. Like, this is ridiculous. And pointing out how they were mistakes. And, like, you know, referencing psych books and articles and such. I'm gonna give myself a little bit more light. Sorry. Okay, so, and just being like, come on, guys. Like, you can do better than this. If you have time for all the bullshit, the nonsense to build a she shed, a clay workshop, and take clay lessons, and, you know, make believe, fantasize that you're an artiste, or go get that Starbucks latte, go get your nails done and your hair done, go clothes shopping, or like sit and veg out and watch television for hours, or whatever it is you do on social media or whatever, then you have time to figure out, like, other stuff out. You have time to read a book on child development and stuff, like the way you're interacting with them, the things you're teaching them, modeling to them is not healthy. So, so yeah, it would, like, a lot of my visits would be like lecturing my mom and my sister, which would like make them not happy with me, and typically quite often make me leave on like a sour note with them. So this is, I recall this was happening in this visit, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna head out. Went upstairs to say goodbye to my niece. She was just like in her bed, chilling there, sitting there, looking very, like, kind of depressed and anxious. Just like, kids should not look this mopey, like this. Yeah, she was too young to be so mopey, and just looked agitated and frustrated. So I started asking her, like, you know, what's up? What's wrong? What do you want to talk about? And she starts launching into the same stuff she'd been talking about, but like talking about the way my sister Sara was treating her, so on and so forth. And so this time I took out my phone. I was like, give me a second. I took out my phone and started recording her, video recording her, talking about all these things, because I was going to show my mom and Megan and be like, this is what she's saying to me, and here are the psych, I was gonna like go to psych articles and stuff. Here are the psych articles and stuff saying that, like, this is inappropriate and it leads to these kinds of problems later, and so on and so forth. And like, because this was gonna be the next step and a precursor to, like, if you guys don't start changing some stuff that I know you know better to do, and I know you have the ability to change, I'm gonna feel like I need to call DIFUS, Child Protective Services, and report some of this shit. You know better. You're being lazy and you're prioritizing all wrong. and you're just falling back on shitty behavior because it makes you feel better. I don't like, and you're too lazy really to work on bad habits, bad behaviors patterns you've fallen into, and stuff you learned from being raised poorly yourself. So I don't remember how long the video lasted that I was talking to my niece. It was mostly her telling me things and me just asking her a couple of questions here and there, or like to clarify things here and there. And I was video recording her, and it was maybe like 10 minutes. And by the way, I didn't think anything of it. I'm her aunt. I raised her at solid for the first 3 years of her life. Every day I was there doing everything for her. We've all taken out our phones and taken pictures of the kids and video recorded them, and like always, and never thought anything of it. It was never an issue of like, do you need permission or something? Because later on, when this did become a DIFUS issue, my mom and my sisters, I guess, told DIFUS that I didn't have permission to video record my niece. It's like, I'm sorry, the kid that I raised for the first 3 years of her life, changed most of her dirty diapers, did everything but breastfeed her, potty training, teething, first teeth, first words, first steps, everything, to the point of where I was there more often than my sister, her mother, because my sister was working her way through nursing school. So she was working at the hospital and going to nursing school. She's working as an assistant type person when she was putting herself through school. It got to the point where my niece actually got confused and started calling me mommy. And we had to correct her and teach her, like, no, I'm Aunt Caddy. I did everything I could for this kid, and she was not my responsibility at all. I love her and her cousins more than anything. So I don't know where suddenly why it's like, and you guys have left her with me all the time, watch her, take her here, pick her up there. You have me do stuff like that all the time. So I don't know where suddenly you get off trying to tell DIFUS, like, oh yeah, she didn't have permission to video record her niece, whom we have had her take care of all the time. But that was one of the things they told DIFUS later after I reported stuff to DIFUS. So what happened was my sister Sara then came into the bedroom behind me as I was recording my niece, Adriana, and going like, what's going on? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm recording, stuff that she's been telling me about, like, some abuse and neglect, and hopefully this will get changed. And Sara starts flipping out and like, stop, give me your phone, because my sister Sara gave me my phone and not the one I currently have, because that one has since broken and I bought the one that I currently have, and gave my phones so she gave phones to my mother, my stepdad, and myself, and put all three of us on her family phone plan. She was like, oh, it's nothing. She was like Santa Claus that day, like, oh, it's nothing, I just add your name on, like, I have so many free slots in the family plan, blah blah blah. She was like Santa, here you go, here's a present for you, like Oprah, here you go, and you get a phone, and you get a phone. But of course, but whenever they want to, they lord it over me that she pays my phone bill. I don't pay my phone bill, my sister, and which is something my mom said to the judge in the court. And her sister pays her phone bill. She pays your phone bill too, Mom. You're on her phone plan too. So this is what my sister's doing. She's trying to steal my phone away from me, because she'd given to me years prior. And she was like, I gave you that phone. Give it back. I was like, no, you can't take my phone from me. By the way, we're in our mid-30s at the time. I'm 37 now. Sarah's about 35 going on 36, something like that. Megan's, we're born roughly a year apart. Megan's a year behind her. We're in our mid-30s. Like, seriously, you're taking my phone away from me? And I have most of this on video. My sister attacking me. So what she did was she just was like lunged on me. She did this in front of my niece, who at this point is now behind me because I turned around to face my sister, who was standing in front of the door. And my niece was on her bed behind me. And Sara just started attacking me in front of my niece. And she's bending my fingers backwards, like about right on the verge of breaking my fingers, trying to pry my phone out of my hands. And I'm like, dude, I was warning her, like, dude, you need to stop. I took self-defense classes in high school. I took kickboxing and stuff. Like, I was just taught, like, put up your left block, square off, sock them right in the nose, discombobulate them and get the F out of there. It's like, dude, like, I don't start fights, but I'm not a doormat. And, like, my family knows this. If you physically starts assaulting me, I'm going to defend myself. That's just the way it is. Like, what am I supposed to do? Just sit there, oh yeah, no, sorry, totally hit me. And tried stealing my property. Yeah, no, go ahead, steal my property. So yeah, so I was warning her even as she was doing, like, dude, I'm not going to let you steal my phone. I'm going to freaking punch you if you don't stop. Get off me, get off me, get off me. I squared off and punched her. Punched her square in the nose, and she got a bloody nose. I don't remember if I broke it or not. I don't think I broke it. I think she just got a bloody nose, like, and swollen. So, and she just turned around and was like, ah, and ran downstairs, yelling, screaming to my mom and my stepdad, like, she broke my nose, she broke my nose, call the police, she broke my nose. I am realizing at this point, like, oh, God. Now they're going to try to have me arrested and have the phone, like, have the phone taken and blah, blah, blah. Because I'm trying to defend myself and my own property. But, like, instead of, like, getting that out of there real quick, I turned around and see if my niece was okay. I was like, are you alright? Are you okay? I'm sorry you saw that. And Adriana was like, yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. So I was like, okay, I have to go. I don't know when I'll see you again. I'm sorry about this. I love you. And just turned around and left and started going downstairs. By the time I get down to the bottom of the steps, which end in the kitchen, and you have to go through the kitchen. Well, there's a door. I wish I thought to just go through the door that goes right out of the kitchen, right in front of the steps, and it takes you right outside. Instead, there's another door. Instead, I went through the kitchen and then through the dining room, and then there's a foyer, and you can go through the foyer into the living room, or you could just go turn left in the foyer and go out the front door, the main front door. So that's where I was going, like, out the main front door. I was going through the kitchen. As I'm, like, going through the kitchen, coming up on the foyer, I can hear my sister in the living room telling my mom and my stepdad that, like, I was video recording Adriana, saying that she was being abused and stuff, and I'm like, yep, I'm getting out of here. And turn into the foyer, turn left, start opening the door, and I hear my mom behind me, and Sarah's, like, a couple feet away. She's, like, right at the edge of, like, the foyer door, like, archway. It's not an archway, but it's, like, not a door. Yeah, anyway, there's, like, a door on one side of the foyer. And my stepdad's also, like, he's, like, a foot or two away from her. So, and I'm just like, nope, I'm getting out of here. I go, I'm opening the doorknob to the front door, and I'm pulling I get the door open, like, 3 inches, maybe, and I hear behind me my mom say, get the phone. And they're on me. Sara just had, like, people on me. They pushed the door shut. It's like at this point, I'm, like, putting all my weight backwards, trying to pull the door open, and they just push it shut. And they're on me. They have me on the ground. I'm getting just hit, beat, and my fingers getting bent backwards. I'm screaming. I luckily thought to lock the phone before, like, as I was going down the steps. And they finally pried the phone away from me. I picked up, like, because there's a an umbrella stand in the corner of the foyer with, like, walking sticks in it. I grabbed one of the walking sticks and, like, swinging it around to get them away from me. And at some point, one of them called the police, and I ran out the door. They got my phone away from me, and I just sat out there and waited for the police to come. And they'd, like, mauled me. Like, they had beaten the tar out of me. I could feel some of it. So the police showed up, and I told them as soon as the police showed up, I have evidence on the phone. They stole the phone from me. Please go get the phone back right away before they get the video off it. I have evidence on the phone. And they went in the house and got the phone from them, and you could see clearly they had taken like accidentally taken screenshots because they'd been trying to like get into the phone, figure out the password. So I showed them the video recording of me asking my niece questions and stuff, and her telling me like things about her treatment there. And I showed them, and it led to showing like Sara attacking me. And I told them, you know, everything that my mom had attacked me and Joe attacked me. And they were like, are you all right? So when they saw the video, they were like, okay, so what we want to do is call an ambulance, because I was already starting to show a little bit of like some like redness, swelling in some areas. And they were like, we're gonna call an ambulance and they're gonna come check you out. If they see any markings, we're gonna arrest your sister, because she was the one on the video. I didn't get a video obviously of the other two attacking me, which they did so afterwards. But then we're gonna arrest your sister. And my sister's listening to this on the porch with my mom, and I was like, I don't know what if I want to do, if I want to press charges or not. And they were like, well, if the ambulance gets here and they find markings on you, whether you want to press charges or not, we're going to arrest your sister and charges will be pressed. And Sarah's yelling at me from the porch, yeah, great, Kate, just get me arrested right in front of my kids. Oh, and by the way, her kids, my niece Taylor and her brother Albie, were downstairs, like in the dining room area, and they witnessed the downstairs attack. I don't know if Adriana saw it. I don't know if she came downstairs behind me after I came and saw it. I don't know. I know that Taylor and Albie were downstairs in the dining room area, so they saw that attack. But what they probably saw of it, I don't know what they would have made of it, because it was like me trying to go out the door, them stopping me, and then getting me on the ground, and then me picking up a big stick and swinging it around, go, get away from me, give me my property. So I don't know what kids would have made of that. So Sarah's up on the porch with my mom standing next to her going, great, Kate, great, yeah, just get me arrested in front of my kids. Let me turn up okay, that's great. I've got my phone propped up against my laptop. Just trying this as a prop. I have low battery on them, but the laptop's giving me more light. Okay, and I could already tell, and the cops could tell, like, yeah, like, they're gonna find markings on me. So I was like, you know what, never mind, it's okay. I didn't want my sister to get arrested in front of her kids. So I just left. I just got my van and left, and I drove a little over an hour home to Pine Hill, and drank some tea, and went to bed. And the next morning when I woke up, I was so covered in bruises and I could barely move. I was so sore and swollen, and I was just covered in bruises, like all on my back. I took pictures, and I decided, like, this is ridiculous that they did this. This is my mother's solution, their solution. My mother and my stepdad, who again was a lawyer, and my mother, the nurse practitioner. This was their solution, and my sister's solution. They're all parents and thought well of. To me, video recording my niece talking about how she feels like she's being abused and neglected, instead of talking about it, was to attack me and steal my property from me. So I was like, I can't, this is ridiculous. And the kids saw that. So I went to my local police station up in Pine Hill and made a report there with, like, the bruises all over me and the pictures of the bruises. The next day, because I'd woken up in the morning like so covered in bruises and so sore and so swollen and stiff and barely able to move. And when I told the cops about everything that happened, I showed them the video recordings, I showed them the bruises and stuff, and I spoke with a counselor there. They were like, you should, and the counselor was like, you should report this to DIFAS, because the kids, they did this in front of the kids and stuff. So I did. I called DIFUS and reported it to DIFUS. And then DIFUS wound up taking some of the kids, I guess, out of class and asking them questions in school. This is what I was told. And I don't know what happened. I don't know. But basically, DIFUS didn't do anything. Again, if you'll recall, I think I alluded to it in another video, but I'll be getting into more detail about this other thing in another video. It has to do with a different issue on the list. But my mom had DIFUS called on her when I was a kid, when we were kids, and on the way to the DIFUS appointment, so they didn't take us out of school. They just told my mom, bring your kids here at this time. And on the way to the appointment, I remember my mom coaching us in the vehicle, to say certain things. And I remember also a very nice lady kind of kneeling, stooping down in front of me, getting face to face with me and asking me a bunch of questions, and me just parroting back what my mom told me to say over and over. So I know my mom coaches kids. She coached me based on personal experience. I know my mom coaches kids on what to say to people like DIFUS. And she also knows what to say to people like DIFUS because she was a screener for PIP in Atlantic City. They're like a psych facility. She screens patients to see if they need to be admitted. She deals with drug addicts and stuff too. She knows kind of the internal workings of what they want to hear when it comes to child services and all this stuff. She has to give sometimes testimony and statements and stuff to DIFUS and Child Protective Services on behalf of some of her patients who are drug addicts, stuff like that. So she knows what to say to them. She knows what to say to them. And she knows what to tell the kids to say to them. So, I don't know what was said. I don't know what the kids said to DIFUS. I don't know what they were told to say to DIFUS. I don't know what my mom said. I know that when I called and checked up on it again with DIFUS, the woman seemed very, pissy with me. Very, did you have any business video recording her? And I was, she's my niece. I took care of her the first 3 years of her life. We all take pictures, video record the kids. We always have. What? What? What are you talking about? So, yeah. I don't know. So, that report wasn't taken seriously. I was attacked by my mother, and my stepdad, and my sister right in front of both of my nieces and my nephew. And my property was stolen from me, pried out of my hand, and I was covered in bruises, and I have pictures, some of the pictures of the bruises on me, and I have the video recording. I guess I'll figure out something like blurring out my niece's face and stuff, or maybe I'll just cut it, right to when my sister started attacking me, and put that up, so you can see for yourself. It's ridiculous. It's just absolutely, the behavior in this family that my mother is modeling and supporting and fostering is so unhealthy, and it's so unhealthy for my nieces and my nephew to see. And I feel like my sisters are just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think anymore about a lot of this. So I'm going to end this now. Wow, it's at 43 minutes, and I'm losing light fast. There's a drop of light left in the sky practically, so... Alright, so I'm going to try to make more videos tomorrow, and bye. Oh, I'm trying to remember, is there anything else I wanted to say? So yeah, my mom attacked me. My mom not only attacked me, she got my sister and her husband, my stepdad, to attack me. In my mid-30s, and stole my property. That's just one incident. Yeah, and then she went into a courtroom recently and insisted to a judge that I was dangerous to her. What an evil troll she is. She really is. She's an evil troll. I have no other excuses for her anymore. She's like a monster from a fairy tale. Like, but worse. Like, give me the freaking aliens from the Aliens movies with Sigourney Weaver. You know, Eleanor Ripley. Like, I think I'd fare better with those things. Like, at least you know that they're your enemy, right? Like, look at it. It's freaking acid for blood, and look at this. Jeez, you know, like, you know that thing's an enemy. Like, just kill it. Like, it's not wearing a mom face. Okay? So, yeah. It's a creature. It sacrifices its own children to save itself. It's disgusting. It's not a mother. I don't know what it is, but it's not a mother. Pushing babies out of your body doesn't automatically make you a mother. Would you call the woman, the female, say in the book A Child Called It, would you call that a mother? She like horribly tortured her son. No, that's an abuser. It's not a mother. It's a monster. You know, like, she's not a mother. She's a monster. She's a child. Anyway, alright, yeah, 45 minutes, yeah. Alright, goodbye. I'll make another one soon.